At the river, Brad had ripped a piece of God's tourniquet from which he had rolled out of his side pocket. He had ripped the God's tourniquet with his teeth. Colden somehow uses the water as a reprised tourniquet Medicaid stat kit to dry the wound of his bleeding processings. Realized they were out in the wilderness. Colden turns towards Tess. Watch, Brad and James. Well, I'm gonna get some tree saps to cauterize these wounds. Tess nods, and Colden attempts to leave without a knife. However, Tess says, "No, bro, take this." Colden looks at Tess. "You trust me with a gun? I thought you hated me with guns." Colden walks towards his brother Tess and takes the gun sideways, holding the trigger part in his hand, but the bullet front from behind him. Then holds it hand front forward and puts it in his back pocket as he walks away, and deeper into the darkness of the woods. Brad tries to get up to walk after Colden, but is unable to because of his current bite on his leg. He somehow manages to use a tree stump to get up, and screams at the moonlight while he hobbles himself through the woods. Within the woods, Colden Mitch finds some tree sap within a tree, and uses his rainbow-like Foley knife to cut the tree bark from the tree sap, revealing sap from the tree. He takes some from his knife and turns around, and Brad simply scares him. Colden simply jumps a small portion before Brad says, "It's done, yeah. You know what you're doing, right?" Colden looks around. "Dude, I'm taking for doctor's sold services." Colden drops one knee to the ground, shows his wound, and applies the tree sap to the wounded area, which acts like as a medical portion, which was soothing toward the wound Brad had just gotten. Colden mentions, "Dude, we're gonna have to get you. So far, medical services, we gotta get you to town." Colden helps Brad back through the woods to James and Tess. Back at the river, Tess had just wrapped James's multiple wounds with various tourniquets, using the gauze that from their car convertible, which he had just left James slightly, and returned immediately afterward, leaving James Mitchell a handgun, specifically a 9mm Beretta handgun, which he has slouched to the side. He looks into the distance at an animal that was drinking water. James couldn't believe it, and as Tess stood next to him, Colden and Brad noticed the same furry-like creature staring at them from a distance. Tess was looking at James past the final wound with the gauze tourniquet, as well as antibiotics, before he looks directly at Colden, who seems to be amazed with this transaction featurette in the front of him. Brad looks forward at the furry-like animal. James looks forward too, not moving a single muscle. Tess mentions, "You guys must be kicked to be standing still," and looks toward the creature and it comes to a complete stop of his words. A grizzly bear looks up at the four brothers, licks his lips in positive surprisement as all staring. The grizzly bear roars and lunges forward.